Well, there's 3 field events going on. Now it's the turn of the steeplechasers. That championship record, Louisa Geiger's 9:17.31. It's a bit of a tall order, but the Albanian setting that in the 3rd division in Horzo 2 years ago. Just cherry-picking some of the leading contenders, including Flavie Renaud, the Frenchwoman, of course, Marta Serrano, the Spaniard, getting presented to the crowd, took 3rd place in this competition 2 years ago. The Pole, King Krolik, and a personal best of 9:22.14 just a few weeks ago. 2 women who run under 9:25 this year. There's Mononen, the Finn, who's got European under-20 medals on the track, no barriers. Squeezing past Germany's Nadia Buda as well, very good athlete. Buda just 19 years of age.
On your mark.
Well, we saw a championship record in the men's steeplechase a couple of days ago. That was a little bit of surprise in these conditions, but just wondering whether we're going to see something of the same here. It's a quick start. Well, they usually have to be quick in the steeplechase because they're looking for a good position at the first barrier, be able to sight it. Still a big bunch behind. Buda at the front, also the Spaniard, Serrano. Just looking for a good sight of the first barrier.
The funny thing is, though, Phil, there is no barrier for the first 250 metres or so, so they really ought to be flying through this first section and gain time, use the fact that you've got no barriers, but they don't. They all lope along as though there are barriers there, invisible barriers almost. They come to this first one now. With the Dutch athlete out in the front there, it's Veerle Bakker, I think.
It was a bit bizarre that they really hurried along for the first 150 metres and then slowed down dramatically. But it's Bakker in front, Tate up there as well, the good Briton. Sarah Tate, 4th in the NCAAs recently when she set a personal best of 9:27.
Ramos in the Javelin, 74.76, his opener. What can he do here? And that has gone out well beyond 75 metres. That's pretty good for Ramos. Remember the lead, Weber of Germany, his opener 85.15. And Ramos, that one comes down at 77.08. He moves into 2nd place in the early stages of this one. The Portuguese, well, he is an 81-metre thrower this year. He's actually a bit below the radar, maybe. Back in May 22, he threw 84 metres plus, so he's a good thrower. 77.08, good enough for 2nd at the moment.
We're back at the steeplechase as they're coming round. Just completed a lap and a half, 6 laps to go. And it is Serrano, the Spaniard, and Buda, the German, at the front, controlling proceedings at the moment. Well, 2:04 through the first 600 metres, a little bit slow. That was the Italian who was having a few problems navigating the barrier there. Collie struggling to get over the barrier. Well, she's one of the smaller built athletes, but it's still Buda and Serrano. Taking things very, very gently at this stage.
So, last attempt for Mahuchik. She wasn't close on the 2nd attempt. 3rd and final attempt at 2:03. She has the competition won. If you've just joined us, she cleared 2 metres first time to secure the win. Oh, no. And that one was the same. Looked again like she didn't really get the takeoff position right. Took off a long way from the bar and drifted across and through the line of the bar. Never really got up there. But maybe, Phil, maybe, sort of subconsciously, she's aware that she has the competition won. She's got maximum points for her country. And this is, frankly, of relatively little consequence. With much bigger fish to be fried in weeks to come.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right there, but it's great to see an athlete of the stature of Mahuchik coming out and supporting Ukraine. And we all know what the events have been going on in the Ukraine since 2002, and she really is a vocal spokesperson for Ukrainian rights. Well, back to the steeplechase. Well, they went through 1,000 metres in 3:20.6. It's Bakker at the front still, Serrano Renoir has moved up quietly through the pack to get a good position. Monanen, who's got good flat speed. Don't really know very much about her as a steeplechaser. I think she might well be changing events. And no surprises so far.
Well, Phil, that first kilometre, 3:20.47, so outside 10-minute tempo. It looks to me like they have injected a little bit of respectability to it now with the Dutch athlete Bakker pushing it along, although there's still a massive pack tucked in behind her. I suppose you'd expect that in the middle kilometre of this race, with the first one being so slow.
Well, they went through 3 laps in 4:01, so it was still a 41-second last 200 metres between the 1 kilometre mark and 3 laps. But it's Bakker at the front. Now, Bakker doing well at the moment. Controlling proceedings, running a good race. Bakker has a personal best of 9:30, so running within herself. This is good run from the Dutchwoman, doing everything right. Serrano as well. Renault and Monanen in 3rd and 4th place at the moment. Colli, the diminutive Italian, long way back, dwarfed almost by the tall pole. Croylet, one of the more useful runners in this field, but now the pace seems to have dropped back again. It's really starting to slow up.
Yeah, the pole staying off the curb, they're getting a little bit of a better sight at the barriers. It's always awkward when you're tucked in the pack and you don't get it to sight the barriers very well. Back to this Javelin, Quijera now, 70.52, his opener. Second round for Quijera then in this Javelin. What can he do? Oh, that's nice. The crowd roaring that one, giving it the extra push. He opened with 70.52. He's just thrown about 77. Goodness me. The Spaniard, I think, yes, will push for second place there, and he does get second place. 77.26 for Quijera. And that is fabulous throwing. He's an 83-metre thrower at his best, 81 this year, so he's homing in on his season's best. He likes it. I don't think they're getting a lot of help from the wind here tonight, so not ideal conditions. The air's very heavy too.
Oh yeah, it's really, really heavy. And you can see that. There's a few heavy legs out there as well. Serrano, Krolik, Renault, Monanen, as you can see on the lower left-hand side of your screen, that pink bunched quartet at the front. Krolik, very tall pole, almost dwarfing the rest of the women behind her. And this has got very, very slow indeed. Just about 100 metres away from going through the 2 kilometre mark. And it's at well outside 10-minute pace at the moment. Serrano, 9:24. Her personal best, Serrano. And, ran that in the Hengelo competition. 6:44 at 2 kilometres. That is dreadfully slow.
The second kilometre slower than the first, can you believe? The opening kilometre, 3:20. The second kilometre, 3:24. The winning time is not going to be much inside 10 minutes, even if they wind it up now with these last couple of laps, because they come down the home straight, Phil. The Spaniard in control, running in inspired fashion, and of course, if it's going to be this slow, you might as well be at the front so it can react to everything around you. Good to see the Briton there in that pack there. Sarah Tate giving a good account of herself at the moment. She's run some 40 seconds quicker than the tempo they're moving at.
Nevertheless, despite the slow pace, about 6 women now starting to drift off that leading pack. Still about 10 women in contention, including the Portuguese athlete Taborda. She's up there as well. But it's now Serrano at the front, getting the cheers from the crowd. Krolik, Monanen, 2 very quick runners without the barriers. They're doing well at the moment. But every so often, they just seem to surge a little bit and then ease back. And this is almost walking pace, isn't it?
Lap and a half to go. Now would be a good time to kick in and test the others. Get a run at the clean run at the barriers, at the water jump, and test the others. If you're going to go into a last 500 surge, you might as well be at the front of it. Why just assume you can get past the others? I think if you're comfortable in roughing that top half dozen at the moment now, I would probably try and force my way to the front. Otherwise, it becomes a lottery over the last 200.
It's almost as though Krolik has listened to you, because that's exactly what she's done. She has got herself to the front. Serrano tucked in behind her. Sarah Tate still very much up there, the Briton who's been at the University of Virginia in the United States, running well over there. And the pack is now down to 5 at the front, with Krolik now starting to push the pace quite significantly. As expected, they heard the bell and the tempos increase. Renault, the Frenchwoman, Mononen of the Finland are up there. Serrano still, and Tate. That's the 5 at the moment, battling for contention, but it's still Krolik with 3 barriers to be navigated. Krolik now looking for a clear runner, coming through on the inside, ducking through is Tate. Renault out in lane 2, she's doing well at the moment. Good hurdling there from Tate and Renault, and it's the Briton versus the Frenchwoman now as they're coming round, coming into the last water jump. 2 barriers to go. Tate in front. Tate's got clear run at it. She's navigated that barrier cleanly. Just 1 to go. Now Tate starting to sprint. This is a 9:24 runner at best. This pace has increased significantly over the last 500 metres. Krolik now on the outside. She almost stumbles, but now she's starting to move. Renault now trying to close it down on Tate. Is Renault got the legs? Oh, it's so tight on the line, but I think it went to the Frenchwoman.
Renoir took it, there's no doubt about that. Tate, I don't think she eased off. I think she was flat out there. A brilliant, brilliant run for the Briton, but Renoir had a target. And so often the psychology of chasing hard gives you that extra carrot dangling in front of you, a target, something to run at. She took the silver 2 years ago, 2nd place 2 years ago, and they say Mononen, the official result. It wasn't. It was Renoir, wasn't it, who took that one, I think. Or was it the
Let's look at the replay, because the finish in the French kit looks very similar.
You were going Renoir, and I thought it was Renoir, but Tate, fantastic. If it was the Finn and Mononen, and it looks like it was, our apologies to Finnish viewers, but the 21-year-old Ilona Mononen, with the best of 9:29 this year, absolutely flying that last 100. Brilliant running from all those top 3 or 4 athletes. Then Tate took it to them. I thought she was safe and sound over the final barrier, but Mononen came at her like a rocket over the last 50.
And a 1 smile from Sarah Tate. She now knows that she's just been beaten by 0.03 of a second, and it is confirmed. I do apologise. I was saying it was the Frenchwoman. Very similar kits. It's barely an excuse for people like myself, but let's have a look at the replay then. It was such a slow race until the last 500 metres.
It was indeed, yes, that first kilometre, remember, a pedestrian 3:20, and the second kilometre 3:24, and then they wound it up, and of course they ended up with a winning time of 9:49 from Mononen. That's still a long, long way from international class, but it did bring a degree of respectability. I think I said at one point they're going to struggle to break 10 minutes here. Well, 9:49, a long way under 10 minutes, but Mononen timed that to perfection. She really did. And you look at her card, and she's a 4:14 1500 metre runner, 8:56 for 3,000, nowhere near international class at either of those distances. Former footballer, her idol is Emma Coburn, who was a mighty, powerful steeplechaser, very, very strong steeplechaser, and maybe Mononen running with the inspiration from the American there, as we see that tiny winning margin, as you said, Phil, just a few hundredths of a second.
Yes, and Krolik, well, she stumbled off the last hurdle. See it just on the left-hand side of your screen, just as she was starting to get a sprint ready for the line. Serrano just edged out of it, arms pumping like an 800-metre runner. Wasn't enough to stop Mononen, as you can see very clearly from that head-on shot, just edging out Tate. I think Tate, with about 2 strides to go, could almost glance over to her right and see Mononen and just get past her. So Mononen, it is confirmed as the winner. 9:49.21. Sarah Tate, Great Britain, 2nd, and Krolik of Poland in 3rd, all the way down. Slightly disappointing run from the German Adia Buda. Expecting a bit more from her.